Taking a look at the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix, Daniel Ricciardo took Red Bull's first pole position of the season, edging out Belgian Van Dorn by 1/10 of a second. The Australian snatched pole in the dying embers of Q3, stopping the McLaren driver from getting his third consecutive pole position in a row. The second row was occupied by both Ferraris, who strangely set identical lap times, but as Rosberg set his lap time first in Q3, he forced his fellow countrymen to consolidate with 4th position. The second Red Bull of Verstappen took 5th, with the Mercedes driver of aarava in 6th place, beating both his fellow countryman Hamilton and teammate Verline, who both found themselves down in 7th and 8th position. Both Williams drivers of Valtteri Bottas and Jenson Button round out the top 10 here in Catalonia. Can Van Dorn beat the Red Bull of Ricciardo down the long stretch into turn 1, and can either of the Mercedes fight for the top 8 to take a podium here in Spain? Next up, it's the Spanish Grand Prix. So this season is certainly shaping up to be a close one, with 6 drivers within 21 points of one another. Do you think it's anyone's to win, or do you think we'll start to see a pattern of the front runners soon?
Yeah, it's hard to tell right now. It's hard to tell. You can't, we're only on the 4th race, so it's hard to see if there will be a pattern. But if you look back to last season, it started off very much like this, and then eventually we saw, the two kind of outstanding teams, Ferrari and McLaren, pull away a little bit. This year, I think it looks like more of a 4-way scrap in the championship in terms of cars and in terms of drivers. Yeah, I think all 6 at the moment are in it, and it's anyone's to win each race. 3 different winners in the last 3 races, so I don't think you can really call who's going to win the race. And obviously today we've seen Red Bull get right back into the fight where they look nowhere in Brazil. So yeah, for sure, I think it's anyone's to win at the moment. It's still too early in my opinion, so I'm not really thinking of the championship myself. Obviously there might be other people who are already thinking of that, and the media will do as well. But yeah, no, for sure, it's very, very open at the moment.
You mentioned upgrades. Red Bull certainly have brought a large one for this weekend. Can we expect anything from Mercedes soon?
Yeah. We're hoping to bring some upgrades to Canada. We were actually meant to bring some new turbo upgrades to here for Spain. Obviously we tested here pre-season, so it was a good place to bring it, but fortunately they got a little bit sidetracked, so that's not anyone's real fault, just something we have to get through as a team. You find these issues, so we're bringing that upgrade for Canada. We brought a few little tweaks here and there to the aero, but obviously nothing as major as Red Bull, which you've seen in such a huge turnaround. So we're hoping that the upgrades can come in Canada, and that it'll be just as big as Red Bull brought this weekend.
Alright, thanks for your time and good luck for the race.
Alright, cheers, thanks a lot. What's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to my F1 MyDriver Career Mode Season 2, Episode number 4 today for the Spanish Grand Prix. If you've missed the last episode out of Brazil, I highly recommend you go check it out before watching this one, because it probably has ended up being my best career mode race ever, and a lot of you guys agreed with me in the comments. It was an absolute stunner of a race, a lot of battles, so do go check that out if you haven't already. But anyway, heading to this episode, the Spanish Grand Prix, we've qualified a little bit lower than I wanted to. Obviously, teams like Red Bull bringing turbo upgrades, and Honda also trying their best to keep McLaren up ahead, but Ricciardo's on pole position at the moment. It looks like it's going to be a 3-stop race with options till the end, pretty much until the last stint, where it'll be a prime tyre. But anyway, we will prepare for those 5 red lights. We've got 33 laps ahead of us of a brand new Spanish Grand Prix to the MyDriver calendar from Season 1. We're away, and a lot of wheel spin. Pascal swerving around in my mirrors. Hamilton there on the left-hand side and making a brilliant start. We've got the Williams right behind me as well. So, oh god, there's been some contact. Verstappen, I think there was Vettel, and there's been a huge crash behind me. I think 5 cars collided there, and that is a huge, hefty impact for the beginning of this Grand Prix. We're up into 4th place right now, as Rosberg is right behind, I think that's Daniel Ricciardo, and Van Dorn is into the lead of this Grand Prix. We've got Gasly in the Toro Rosso up into 5th place, so a huge crash for a lot of the top runners there, and that has changed the makeup of this Grand Prix completely. But Van Dorn gets away from Ricciardo, but we're going to have to definitely look at many replays of that start, because many problems were happening there. So let's look at a replay from the kind of panning camera as we go down to turn 1. You can see there Hamilton shot off like a bullet, and you can see there, oh, it looks like the Red Bull of Verstappen swerved into the Red Bull. Look at the carnage that has ensued there. So on board from Valtteri Bottas this is, so this gives us a good indicator of the entire thing from behind us. So obviously he had a pretty good start. There's us right ahead of him, and then there up ahead you can see the crash, and then Valtteri's going to get collected here. Oh no, he'll just about, oh, okay, there. he was collected. I thought so. He was collected by my teammate Pascal Wehrlein on the rear tyre. So Valtteri, very unfortunate there. He's come away with a puncher on the front right there. So here's talking about a teammate. Here's Pascal getting an okay start. He has to swerve a little bit as I make a poor start, and now he's on the right hand side of Bottas. So he's going to get collected by one of the Ferraris, I think, or the Mclaren of Hamilton. That's a very violent impact there, a double impact from the Williams as well. And he's actually quite lucky. Looks like he's not got any punches on the front, and he's only come off with half a front wing. So he actually got quite lucky there in that crash not to lose maybe an entire tyre. This is Hamilton. An absolutely amazing start from Hamilton there, as you might expect. But in this McLaren, an absolute storming rocket start. And there, huge impact with Verstappen and the Ferrari. And you can clearly see that was Verstappen's fault, I think that was, turning into Sebastian Vettel. But Hamilton loses his entire front wing. It all went very, very fast, so we couldn't really get a good idea what actually went on. But it just all went in a blink. And then here is the man in question, Sebastian Vettel, the one who's really started the entire accident by being taken out by the Red Bull. So he's going along, and then at this point he's completely hooked by the Red Bull, goes along the wall, smashes some cars on the left that you can't see, collects Jensen Button there in the Williams, which we'll see a replay of right about now on board there. But that was Vettel starting on the prime tires, I think that was. So here's Jensen Button's POV. So he's going along. Obviously he's a bit further back than Bottas, so you would think he would maybe try and avoid it. But let's see, he probably got quite unlucky here. Yeah, wow. Very, very unlucky. Vettel just gets there and the T-bone accident happens there. So unlucky for Button. If he had actually got a worse start, he probably would have been better off. But here is the man probably in the complete wrong here, Verstappen. Let's see what goes on. So he just moves to the inside and, oh, what is going on there? He just jabs at Vettel and then gets sideswiped by my tyre, it looks like. So I think that was me who kind of pushed him even more. So we could have been in that accident. That was very, very close. I think we were the one who spun Verstappen out the second time round. So let's look at our POV once more, but this time looking backwards, because we can see how close that was to everyone. So we're coming through. At this point, the accident's happened. We swerve. Oh, look how close that was. Look how close that was. We were inches away from being in that accident ourselves. Because if we look at a kind of a still image, look how close Hamilton is to our rear tyre. And then Verstappen, very, very close. I think we might have spun him out a second time round, because you can see now, we were so close. Look at the tyres glitching between each other. We were actually probably millimetres away from actually having an impact in that physics engine of the game and spinning around ourselves. So very, very close. Very, very fortunate not to be an accident, but a huge crash. And that has completely changed the entire makeup of this championship and this race, as we see a Williams there having a few issues, dangerously going across the track. But yeah, this has changed not only the makeup of the race, but the makeup of the championship, because this means a lot of front runners are going to lose points. And there you can see Hamilton dangerously in the chicane going slowly. And yet again, I don't know what has gone on with him. I said, I brought up concerns at Bahrain that, he just seems to be a bit stupid this season, that he's not thinking with his head. Like when he's crashed himself out or he's had problems with his front wing or tyre, why are you parking it in the middle of the circuit? Yet again from Bahrain, dangerous driving there from Lewis Hamilton. And I'm not too sure what the FI are going to do about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. But I, for one thing, very, very dangerous driving. But anyway, we're on to lap 3 now. We're right behind Nico Rosberg, who's being held up by Grosjean in the Manor car. So we've talked about it in the past about maybe Manor holding the Mercedes team up, but it looks like the Manor car this time round has completely played the B team card and held up Rosberg, an absolute treat there. So we're ahead of him. But cutting later on to lap 3, we're coming down to this turn. We're going to have a few issues with the braking. We lock up horribly on the left, and that allows Rosberg to sail cleanly past us down the inside and re-overtake that position for third place. So it looks like we're going to have a fight with Rosberg this entire race. As you can see, Ricciardo and Van Dorn already off into the distance. Obviously, Red Bull with a big turbo upgrade, Honda making some upgrades, and both of them on pretty much equal pacing at the moment, with Van Dorn getting a little bit away. But it looks like we don't have the pace exactly to catch up to them at the moment, as Van Dorn set a blistering lap time right now to make the fast lap of the Grand Prix. But back to our fight with Rosberg here. We've got DRS, we've got Slipstream at the moment as we go on to lap 4. So it looks like we will be lining up a pass into turn 1. We go down the gears, we're going to hit the apex quite nicely, squeeze him out on the exit, and we've got that place back up into third place. So very nice straight away to already be in the podium position so early on in the race, considering where we qualified down below and the start we got. I really didn't think we would be in this position. So that crash, although it also helped out a lot of other people, it also helped me out quite a bunch. And at the moment, you got Hamilton, Vettel, Pascal, all, seemingly, at least for now, out of the points, well out of the points. So that's going to really help me out. I mean, who knows I don't know if any of them retired. It looked like maybe Vettel had to retire because he had a very hefty impact, but Pascal and Hamilton for sure continued on after that crash, so they could come back to this race and get some, 1 or 2 points here and there. You just never know with the pace of those cars. But anyway, we're in for the pit stop right now on lap 7, so we cut later on. Nothing else happened in that first stint, so we're on to another set of option tyres. So as I said at the beginning, 3 stop like Brazil, and pretty much just like Brazil, we're going to go options all the way till the last stop where it's going to be prime tyres, because especially here at Spain from previous experiences, if you go on the prime tyres when other cars are around you on option tyres, it really does not work well, and you are just going to be painfully slow, as Nico Hulkenberg here is probably going to demonstrate. He's on the prime tyres, he's been on the prime tyres from the start of the Grand Prix, I'm guessing, and we're just going to swoop around very easily, albeit obviously he's already had some wear on those tyres, of 7 laps of wear, but still, just showing that prime tyres really aren't the tyre to be on, and even in a Mercedes, even the McLarens, if they were to go on the prime tyres, I don't think it'll work out too well, especially at this track. There's a much bigger difference in delta time between tyres here. So anyway, on to lap 9 now. We're trying to chase down the cars ahead of us. We've got Rosberg in the pit, so now he's behind us once more. So the undercut working very well there. Two laps worth of undercut, and you can see we've gained a lot of time on Rosberg, as he was only just behind us at the pit stops, but now he's a good, I would say, 2-3 seconds, and there Grosjean getting lapped there. So unfortunate to see that from Manor. Obviously, Mercedes as a team, we didn't bring an engine upgrade for this race, so that's delayed till Canada, so maybe that's hampering Manor, but a little bit annoying to see them, a little bit further down. Obviously, as the B team, would have been nice to see them score some points, but I'm sure maybe they're just going to have to do some damage limitation for this one, and when Canada comes around next race, when we bring the turbo upgrades, it won't just be for our team, it will be for all the Mercedes engine powered teams. So hopefully Manor can get right back up there in Canada. But yeah, unfortunate to see Grosjean already being lapped there so early on in the Grand Prix. But anyway, we cut later on to lap 15 now. Our second pit stop, I'm not lying, I'm not kidding to you, nothing really happened in that second stint, unfortunately. It was a very kind of, well, we're all sort of matching our own paces. Rosberg and myself pretty much kept the same similar sort of gap. I wasn't able to catch Ricciardo, who obviously with that new Red Bull upgrade has really been storming away there trying to catch Van Dorn, so we cut all the way to that second pit stop. So now we're coming later on to 2 laps later, and Rosberg has now found himself behind us. He's made his pit stop as well, so we're on the same bit of tarmac right now, and Rosberg's going to go for the move. I try to squeeze him onto the right hand side of the circuit, but he's having none of it. He's got great speed with DRS. He darts around a little bit in the brake zone, so I'm just trying to take the measure of him, trying to see where we can get him. We go through the left hander, we're going to swoop back and try and get kind of a cutback line on him and try and get the acceleration, and that kind of does work for us a little bit as we get right up his gearbox. We're going to try and make a move down the inside of Rosberg. Let's see, hit the apex as best we can. He's still going to go side by side with us. He does well to stick around the outside. Looks like we've maybe got him, but no, on the exit he comes very, very close to my front left, squeezes out there, so we have to kind of hang back. And now later on to the lap, we've caught back up to him in sector 3 through the chicane. We chuck it down the inside, side by side through here, but obviously that inside line is quite awkward for me, so I have to back out that, and Rosberg takes the kind of third place once more onto the pit straight. But now again we'll have DRS, he won't have DRS, so this is a perfect prime opportunity. We fade to the left, move to the right, and we'll try and make this move done even before the brake zone. I think we'll just about get it, but no, he does well to brake late there. He's still side by side with me. This time we do not squeeze him out on the outside like we did in the opening few laps, and he's still going to stick with us through the right hander, a lot closer than he was behind us, so he's still going to be in this fight at the moment. So Rosberg giving us our only real fight at the moment in this Grand Prix. I lock up a little bit and trail wide on that right hander. Rosberg goes down the inside of us. We've been going side by side for about 2 laps now. We lock up horribly, trying to keep it down the inside of Rosberg. He'll get the good traction, and unfortunately looks like Rosberg will just about get us, as I can't really make a move into this next high speed chicane. We try our best, but Rosberg is going to get the better line around the outside there, so we're going to have to stick behind him. But moving on to the next lap, lap 21, we are within 1 second of Rosberg. He's got DRS there on the bottom right, so we're trying to close up on him still, but he's been getting away from us in sector 2 and 3. Into turn 1, you can see just not anywhere near Rosberg to make any sort of move. Through turn 2, he's getting away from us slightly, and just looks like Rosberg, he pit 2 laps later than us, so it looks like that tyre wear, that advantage he's got on fresher tyres, is helping him out here. And on lap 23, pretty much coming up to the pit window, at this point I was thinking I'll do the exact opposite of what Rosberg's doing. So if he comes in, I'll stay out. If he stays out, I'll come in. So we're checking here, and just last moment there, you can see I realised Rosberg's staying out, so we actually narrowly miss crashing into that wall on the right hand side, because I was so late to dart into the pits, because I really wasn't sure, because it looked for us like for a second Rosberg might have come in, but as I said, I was doing the opposite of whatever he did, so he stayed out. So I made a last minute call to come in onto the prime tyres now, going to the end on lap 33. So he is hoping that obviously maybe he'll stay out at least 1 or 2 more laps and we can try and get another undercut on him, and hopefully maybe these prime tyres, hopefully the Mercedes car is just a bit better on the prime tyres than the Ferrari is, because you know, if that last stint's anything to go by, we might struggle to keep this third place if we do get the undercut. And on to lap 25, confirming, here we go, past Nico Rosberg, aggressively moving to the right, just cheekily wanted to make sure that he knew I was there, and knew that I was going to take the undercut. Just a little bit of kind of personal vendetta there against him, just swooping there a little bit, not kind of trying to make anything happen, just kind of getting close, just to let him know that yes, I have overtaken him and I've got the undercut. So now we concentrate on ourselves, and we're looking towards the end of this Grand Prix. We cut later on to lap 28. We're going to lap a Renault car here in yellow of Parma there. You can see at the moment I've got a bit of fuel to burn, so that's what I'm doing at the moment, using that extra fuel in Rich Mix just to get away from Rosberg. At the moment I believe the gap is, I don't know, a few seconds I think at this point. Ricciardo though, unfortunately, is about 19 seconds down the road. Him and Van Dorn have had blistering pace, just showing the upgrades for Red Bull and the continued dominance that McLaren have shown. And as we cut on to lap 33, confirmation, Stoffel Van Dorn gets his second win of his career and the second win for this season. So absolutely awesome stuff for Van Dorn there. Ricciardo is going to come second, that means, and will just about come third place, because by the time we got to lap 33, the tyres were starting to go out, and Rosberg, you can see there in the mirrors, is just behind us. So if Rosberg maybe had 2 more laps in this Grand Prix, he probably would have been quite favourable to get me here, but obviously we're going to end it here, so we are going to get third place, and that's actually a brilliant podium for us, considering the pace of the Mercedes, and considering the start we had so close to that accident. I think third place is an absolute fantastic job, and pretty much basically a win for us because of the pace of the Red Bulls and McLarens this weekend. So there you go, confirmation. Ricciardo finished 13 seconds behind Van Dorn, so even though the Red Bulls made some good upgrades, Van Dorn showing the McLaren still had the pace. Obviously Hamilton got crashed out there. My teammate Verline still got up into 8th place, surprisingly, so fantastic job for him to come back into that Grand Prix. And Verstappen, the one who caused the accident, up in 5th by the end, so that'll be a bit questionable. I think that'll probably be quite a unfavourable result for Verstappen. I think a few people would like him to not get some points that race, because he was the one who caused the accident. And then down the line we can see Vettel, as I suspected, retired from that Grand Prix, and Hamilton down the order 1 lap behind. So huge impact for the championship, that means, and huge impact for the title race so early on, to see so many of the top runners have issues and score less points than they probably would have, because you got to say Verstappen was probably on to get third place there behind Ricciardo, and you got to say Hamilton maybe could have even overtaken both Red Bulls and had a fight with Van Dorn, and Vettel could have been there hampering me with Rosberg. So a huge impact to that race. But guys, if you have enjoyed that episode, smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. As usual, guys, I say it so many times, but I hope it's not getting tiring, but I've just got to say a huge thank you to you guys again. I've been absolutely blown away by the support for MyDriver. You guys are always in the comment section going, we want more, and it's great to see. Obviously, I've said many times, I can't really do many more than I am right now. I don't think I'll ever get to a point where I can do MyDriver daily unless I literally get a supercomputer and become superhuman and get like 2 hours sleep to try and record the race and then edit it all. But I appreciate all the support on this series, guys, and I think the phrase is leave them wanting more. That's always the best thing. So it's great that you guys are wanting more from me, and it's great. So hopefully that means the interest for this series can continue on through the entire series, because generally with career modes there's a lot of interest for like the first kind of like 3-4 episodes, then it sort of drops off and then kind of comes back up for the last 2 races. So hopefully the fact that you guys are feeling so hungry for this series will mean that you guys stick around and are supporting it for every single episode till that last 14th one. So thank you guys once again. If you're new around here, then do subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been aarava. I'll see you guys next time. We'll go to the post-race interviews. Goodbye.
Well, it looked like a tough race out there. How did it feel for you in the car today?
Yeah, it was a tough one. The car really didn't feel that amazing. I'm not going to lie, on some of the worn tyres. Spain, very difficult circuit. We knew that coming here. Obviously a change in the calendar. I would have actually maybe preferred Russia in a way. Would have been maybe a bit easier on the tyres, but also probably would have suited the car less even more so than Spain there, because the Red Bulls and McLarens today were such rocket ships up front. We couldn't do anything to catch them, and Rosberg tried his best, especially on the the third stint. Really worn tyres, really just didn't feel great out there in the third stint. Prime tyres surprisingly felt a lot better for me, so we're able to keep him at bay. But yeah, a lot tougher race out there. Very, very different to Brazil, obviously due to the start, and we were very, very lucky not to get taken out there. Really happy that Pascal was able to come back for points, but yeah, I think there's some questions to be brought for whoever caused the accident. I haven't seen a total replay of it, so I don't know who is at fault, but you know, I think all the drivers involved, maybe you know, they need to look at themselves at what a huge crash they caused. I think it was a huge pile up in my mirrors, and we were lucky to escape.
What did you make of Red Bull in that race then? It was certainly very different to their Brazil race.
Yeah, totally different. That Red Bull looked a completely different car out there, and I think that's a testament to Renault's upgrades, so they've done fantastic there. Ricciardo, completely, you know, I saw him up front, you know, a few seconds ahead of me on lap 1, and then just every single lap just kept on drifting away, and, you know, just kept pulling away. Same with Van Dorn, really, but obviously, you know, I didn't expect that from the Red Bull. I would have expected that maybe from the McLarens, because even though Brazil, you know, Van Dorn had a tricky race there, he was, you know, I think that was just a car-specific thing. I knew the McLaren was going to be good, but Red Bull coming out of nowhere with such a big package, so you know, it's going to be something that we have to really work on and be wary of, and just a testament to what, you know, was maybe said pre-race, that anything can happen in this championship, because it looks like a lot of teams are spending a lot of money this season to bring upgrades.
And finally from me, looking to Canada, you mentioned the upgrades coming before this race. Do you think if they all work out, that you guys could potentially be faster than the likes of McLaren and Red Bull there?
Who knows really. I'm hopeful that we can maybe make a good significant step. You know, Brazil, I had really high hopes, and you know, going into this race, obviously at the time I thought we were going to get the upgrades this race, so I had really high hopes that we could maybe even be challenging the McLarens on pace in qualifying, and maybe even trying to get pole position here, but wasn't meant to be with the upgrades. But at the same time, McLaren and Red Bull upgraded this race, the race we didn't. So yeah, I'm really hopeful that Canada is going to be a good upgrade. I need it to be a good upgrade. I think the team needs it to be a good upgrade for us to really make some dents on the championship. You know, I'm yet to get a pole position in this season, and yet to be anywhere really near a win. So I would really like that to happen. I'm going to be really hungry going into Canada. Obviously, a favourite track of mine. So yeah, very hopeful, and very in need of a good upgrade. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for your time.
All right, thanks a lot. Cheers.